This shit is like the Cyberpunk 2077 of rap albums. If you were actively checking for updates, you probably died of disappointment by now. But while we wait, now is a decent time to give thoughts on albums that have released in the past month, for reasons. Anyways, let's begin.
No place like home.
Long Beach rapper and songwriter Vince Staples has dropped a new compact self-titled project with producer Kenny Beats. However, unlike FM, this project is far more stripped back and somehow shorter. I won't lie, on first listen, most songs didn't resonate with me as the production and vocals were far more subdued than previous works. The main appeal of Vince Staples has always been his grim depictions of violence over loud, distorted beats. However, the clever sarcasm that he frequently uses to allude to death and paranoia is still present. It's just asking you to listen closer rather than forcing you to take it in. By removing the hyperbole and concepts present on most rap albums, self-titled depicts the everyday life of Vince Staples without any kind of filter, hence the name. No drama, no artificial conflict, no exaggeration, for better or worse. What remains is his most honest and grounded work yet. Vince's hooks and songwriting have improved significantly, but unless you hear it on its own for multiple listens, it can seem like he's not trying. Whether Kenny Beats' production encourages or complements his vocal style, this is Vince Staples' most quiet record by far. Lyrics suggest an acceptance of his everyday situation, but Vince can't help but lament over the lives lost from gang wars in his hometown. Whether it's Northside Long Beach or Ramona Park, his music has never once suggested he's left the trauma surrounding his community. But what separates self-titled isn't just Vince Staples' maturity when discussing personal matters, but how he chooses to present his story. While as endearing as other Kenny Beats projects like Unlocked or Netflix and Deal, the production is as minimal as it could be. As individual songs, nothing truly stands out or surprises me, which is probably intentional and refreshing in a way. But I've been talking too long about this. Check it out if you haven't already.
Yo, I got sense on me, bands on me, and on key. Got contraband on me through TSA. I don't give a fuck.
Signee and rising star Ken Carson has been on my radar for a year now, but Project X is the mission statement he needed now that he's getting attention. Futuristic hyperpop production is everywhere on this, courtesy of producers Out of Town, Starboy, and 808 Mafia. It's just non-stop party energy with barely any breaks or variation. That's great for concerts or touring, but back-to-back tracks can sound redundant because Ken only has like 3 flows. Either way, his charisma carries this project, and I'm excited for what he's doing next. Give it a try. This is the debut album of indie pop singer and instrumentalist Van Gamsky's solo project Still Woozy, a guitar-heavy fusion of bedroom pop and psychedelic rock that sees him grappling with relationships amid self-doubt and depression. I'm not about to act like this is anything new for the genre or even steps out of a comfort zone. The mix between emotional subject matter and danceable guitar licks has been a perfect way to simulate the numb feeling that comes from any teen drama. That being said, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't done well. Catchy vocal hooks and quiet drum patterns slowly lull the listener into a beach of their own thoughts without really trying. The carefree nature of Woozy's voice is effective at making eternal thoughts more pleasant, but sometimes the lyrics are so cookie-cutter it feels like I'm at a summer camp 24/7. But once you sit back, relax, and allow this album to take the driver's seat, the experience becomes blurred in a fashion that feels like the ideal way to listen. The less you think about it, the more you'll enjoy it, which is probably how it should be.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
After years of working through the industry and establishing himself as a talented curator, Maryland rapper and producer IDK has released his long-anticipated sophomore album, You See For Yourself. There's a lot to appreciate sonically. Beautiful melodies, choir sections, 2000 nostalgia, and dramatic reverb is all over this, either to bring IDK's point home or to service the features, my favorites being T-Pain on 10 Feet and DMX on Crying Church. But after starting relatively strong with songs like Santa Monica and Bang, the direction of the album takes a really unnecessary detour where ideas either lose focus or become super inconsistent. Collabs that should work on paper fall apart without being on the same page, and even on the better songs, IDK keeps alternating between Kanye and Wale influence that sort of cancels itself out. Until the final chunk of this album. Just like Is He Real and I Was Very Bad Before It, IDK reserves the final moments of You See For Yourself to tie up loose ends of childhood anguish. Whether it's his hatred for his stepfather, complicated relationship with his mother, or trauma inflicted by his aunt, all of these topics are given so much care and emotion that it sort of outweighs everything before it. These 5 songs alone justify the fixation on unhealthy relationships while also providing insight for anyone else in the same situation. Even though the first half pigeonholes IDK into pop rap cliches, he is by no means unintelligent. He knows exactly what he is capable of, which makes most of the mediocre songs feel like concessions rather than mistakes. You're gonna see way more IDK in the mainstream regardless, it's just how safe he decides to play it. I just hope he tries to be a Kanye West rather than a Meek Mill. Not better than Dr. Evil in my opinion, but there are some addicting songs in there. Find your favorite. UK producer Iglooghost has some of the most hyperactive and indiscernible electronic music in recent memory. This new mix serves to give his fans new insight into the magical world he's created. Out of context, these tracks are likely B-sides or an entirely new project made from the basis of his full-length album earlier this year. However, I'm personally more impressed with this shift in sound, as it forgoes some of the patience and raw beauty of his last record for much more hard-hitting and fast-paced rhythms. At the same time, transitions between songs are given in English for the first time, as this project presents a lighthearted concept. Tracks aren't just songs but transmissions, alien relics being broadcast by the scientist character that plays submissions that he's received from across the universe as Lei Disks. Honestly, it reminds me of a web series like Ina with how fascinating yet unexplainable the world is. Would highly recommend at least listening once. There's a lot to enjoy. After nearly 5 years with no music whatsoever, beloved TDE artist Isaiah Rashad has returned with a commercial effort, The House is Burning. Isaiah's trademark fast-paced yet heavily low-key rapping style is far more present, yet beats here are deceptively minimal as his voice fades into the instrumentals. The influence of 90s and 2000s Southern hip-hop is the skeleton of this album. Song titles or production choices are specifically chosen as tributes to acts like 3 6 Mafia or UGK. However, what makes The House is Burning unique from other rap projects this year is its balance between Memphis sounds and dreamy, soulful melodies. Since this is a TDE album, the beats here are crisp to perfection. The sound selection and cohesion is as solid as ever, despite the label barely releasing high-profile music nowadays. Surrounding the quote-unquote controversy of this project, I think at some point after the Sun's tirade, people forgot what Isaiah was actually good at. His last 2 albums were full of heartfelt and powerful lyrics, but they were usually buried under woozy and low-key instrumentals that took just as much space. Without the chill aura that surrounds Isaiah's subject matter, a lot of his vocals can come off as low-impact or purposely lazy, since unlike previous albums, lyrics are far more surface level and impersonal. The main example of this is the features, who almost always end up outshining him. Throughout the track list, there will be solo songs that genuinely impress me, like R.I.P. Young or Dark Side. I'm like, damn, okay, Isaiah, you doing work, damn. Then right after, Smino or Lil Uzi Vert or J-Rock or SZA completely show out and steal the song away from Isaiah. While having top-tier features is usually an overall good thing, plus songs were structured like this on purpose, they end up distracting from what is supposed to be his comeback album, simply because his voice doesn't carry weight in comparison. That being said, in the right atmosphere, like an after party or an afternoon smoke session, The House is Burning is easy to listen to and enjoyable in the background, even if certain songs leave you wanting more. Next few are gonna be short and rapid fire. Sample digging legend Alchemist and my favorite Detroit rapper Boldy James link up for another full-length project, Bo Jackson. Songwriting and beats feel less meditated over than their previous project together, but in exchange, Boldy is far more energetic with his delivery while still throwing cold punchlines over menacing and jazzy Alchemist production. I haven't listened enough, but I think it'll grow on me. If you can't get enough Griselda, this and the Benny album that just dropped will hold you over. This is less about the song itself, but more about the artist. Seeing someone with this much musical creativity receive mainstream cosigns is just inspiring. He's like a weird punk rock rap sing fusion thing, and I love it. Seems like everything he makes is 200% him, plus his piano guitar is a Bankai sword, what? Please check out songs like Strong Friend or Social Cues and look out for whatever he's dropping next. Teezo Touchdown's about to be a star, I swear to God! Even though they've been out for multiple years now, Matt Ox and Lancey Foux are easily my favorite rappers coming out of the underground this year. For just a minute long, their chemistry here is incredible. This is additional material from singer-songwriter-producer Liv's 2020 album, Couldn't Wait to Tell You. Extremely sensual jazz and R&B vocals with abstract hip-hop production akin to Navy Blue, Earl Sweatshirt, and Pink Siifu with its mesmerizing sample work. Her poetry reminds me a lot of Erykah Badu, yet the execution of ideas within the instrumentals feels so vibrant and colorful. This is more of a recommendation of the album than the bonus EP, but both are worthy of your time. After 70 delays,
because Carti,
singer and producer ABRA has finally dropped her comeback single, Unlock It, with production help from Boys Noise. Decent, hard-hitting pop record with an okay Carti feature. Check it out if you want. Creative director and frontman of Brockhampton, Kevin Abstract, has dropped another single almost completely opposite to the feeling of Slugger. It's this introspective night drive with retro chords and guest vocals that sound straight out of a One Direction song, but it all works seamlessly to make an experience that feels universal. So far, he's gone 2 for 2 on singles, so I'm anticipating whatever project he decides to drop later this year. This record grew on me a lot, so bear with me. I feel bad since I feel as if I should like this way more. Trippie Redd has more energy than ever in his music as he's spearheading the rage wave that's influenced literally everyone in the underground this year. The beats themselves are well made, but goddamn, the melodies are so simple.
As a playlist, it's amazing, but as an album, it can get annoying.
If you like rage beats, you will absolutely love this album, but I already know I'm not the only one who's tired of the sound.
More like this sound was not made for full-length projects. A lot of the songs shine better when they're on their own. Supernatural has my favorite production he's ever been on. Plus MP5 and Supercell are just fun to listen to.
The singles were great, the Juice and X collabs do relatively well, and nowhere on this album can you say Trippie doesn't try vocally. But at the same time,
The tracks in the second half
are genetic clones of each other, and they rot my brain with how sweet they are. They sounded unique in the beginning, but never progressed past adding 808s over synth loops, so now it just sounds redundant. I'm interested in seeing if artists influenced by this sound will be able to evolve it further, or if this album is the ceiling, but I can at least say Trippie Redd hasn't reinvented himself into something more exciting. Thank you very much for watching.
Wait, I got one more.
Electronic indie band Men I Trust has returned with a new sophomore project, Untourable Album. This thing surprised me in a good way. Seeing their rise in popularity due to aesthetic songs like Show Me How doubling their fan base, I expected them to slowly turn more carefree and generic like most indie pop efforts. But with this new album, their dreamlike production and vocals have migrated into more realistic context, harnessing that blend of synth pop and melted bass chords to create a gloomy atmosphere that can't help but pull you in. Most songs feel as if some devastating tragedy just occurred, yet the remaining family members are forced to take in the aftermath. Groovy funk sections still remain, but instead of sugarcoating, they serve to hide whatever depressing secret is in the details. I'm not suggesting that they went 180, more like a 30. Syrupy bass and occasionally upbeat production appear at the perfect times to stop you from thinking too long. Even though the vocals haven't changed from nonchalant and delicate, now that the instrumentals better reflect the biting nature of the lyrics, Men I Trust's depressing undertones feel far more intentional. Sugar sounds like an indie adaptation of something off Daft Punk's Discovery, while tracks like Organon and Before Dawn echo isolation. There is a minor low point with Lifelong Song and Shoulder. The former is far too repetitive and revolves around a guitar passage that I swear was ripped right from Baby Come Back. But other than that, I am thoroughly impressed with this album, and my appreciation for this particular itch Men and I Trust scratch has only grown. If for some reason you need an album to be sad to at 3 a.m., this is it. Highly recommend. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you agree, disagree, or just want to recommend me some new music, be sure to comment below. I'll be sure to read it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.
Bueno, adiós, Master.